My phone was dying and so was I. Trapped in a mangled car, I dialed my parents praying they'd pick up, but the call went to voicemail 6 times. Rain hammered the wreckage, each drop a cruel reminder of the seconds slipping away. I was 19, invincible until an hour ago when a drunk driver swerved into my lane on Route 17. The impact sent my old Civic spinning into a ditch, metal screeching like a wounded animal. My leg was pinned under the dashboard, pain searing through every nerve. Blood trickled from a gash on my forehead, blurring my vision. I fumbled for my phone, the cracked screen barely glowing. "Mom, Dad, please?" I whispered, dialing again. Voicemail. Again. I wasn't supposed to be here. It was a Friday night, and I was driving home from a community college study group. My parents, Mark and Linda, were at their weekly date night, probably sipping wine at Antonio's, laughing about how I was finally getting serious about school. They'd always been proud but distant, wrapped up in their own world, work, socials, their perfect suburban image. I was their only kid, but sometimes it felt like I was just a checkbox on their to-do list. The first hour I told myself they were busy. Maybe their phones were on silent. By the second, panic set in. My texts went unread. Car crash. Need help. Please. The pain in my leg was unbearable, like a vice tightening with every breath. I tried 911, but the operator said help was on the way. It wasn't. Rural roads, bad weather, excuses piled up like the debris around me. I needed my parents. They were 20 minutes away. Why weren't they answering? By hour 3, I was screaming into the void. Pick up. Please. My voice cracked, raw from shouting. The rain soaked through my jacket, chilling me to the bone. I thought of every fight we'd had, stupid ones about curfews, grades, my attitude. Was this their punishment? No, they wouldn't do that. Would they? Doubt crept in, cold and heavy. I remembered Mom's voice last week. "You're an adult now, Ethan. Handle it." Handle this? A shattered leg and a car that looked like a crushed soda can? Hour 4. I started bargaining with the universe. If I got out, I'd be a better son. I'd call more, visit more, not roll my eyes when Dad droned on about his golf game. My phone battery was at 5%. I sent one last text. "I'm scared. Hospital. Please come." No reply. The screen went black. I was alone, the kind of alone that claws at your soul. The pain was a dull roar now, my body numb from cold or shock or both. Sirens wailed in the distance. Finally, paramedics pulled me from the wreckage, their voices calm but urgent. "Stay with us, Ethan." I wanted to, but part of me was already fading. At the hospital, they wheeled me into the ER. Broken femur, concussion, internal bleeding. The doctor's face was grim as she listed my injuries. "You're lucky to be alive," she said. Lucky. The word felt like a slap. I kept asking for my parents, but the nurses just exchanged looks. "We've called them," one said softly. "They're on their way." On their way. It had been 6 hours. 6 hours since my first call. Where were they? I drifted in and out, the beeping monitors my only company. When I woke again, Mom and Dad were there, standing at the foot of my bed. Mom's mascara was smudged, her eyes red. Dad's jaw was tight, his hands stuffed in his pockets. "Ethan, oh God," Mom sobbed, rushing to my side. "We didn't know. We were at the fundraiser, our phones were off." Dad nodded, his voice gruff. "We came as soon as we got the message." I stared at them, my throat burning. 6 hours, I croaked. "I called you 6 hours ago." Mom froze, her hand hovering over mine. Dad looked away, his face a mask of guilt. "We thought you were fine," Mom whispered. "You're always so independent." Independent? I was their son, bleeding out in a ditch, and they thought I was fine? The room felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken words. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but my body betrayed me, too weak to fight. The nurse came in, checking my breaking the silence. "He needs rest," she said pointedly. Mom nodded, wiping her tears. Dad mumbled something about parking and left. They stayed for an hour, making small talk, avoiding my eyes. When they left, promising to return, I felt nothing. No relief, no anger, just emptiness. The next few days were a blur of surgeries and painkillers. My leg was a mess, pinned together with metal rods. The doctors said I'd walk again, but it'd be months of rehab. Friends from school visited, bringing flowers and bad jokes. They were there when my parents weren't. Mom and Dad came daily, but their visits were stiff, like they were checking a box. "We're so sorry," Mom kept saying. Dad offered to pay for a better physical therapist, as if money could fix the hole in my chest. One night, I overheard them arguing in the hallway. "We should have checked our phones," Mom hissed. "What kind of parents are we?" Dad's voice was low, defensive. "He's alive, Linda. We didn't know it was serious." Not serious. I wanted to hate them, but the truth was messier. They weren't monsters. They were flawed human caught up in their own lives. But that didn't make the 6 hours hurt less. When I finally went home, our house felt different. Smaller, colder. Mom hovered, offering food I didn't want. Dad buried himself in work. I spent hours staring at my phone, replaying those unanswered calls. I started therapy not just for my leg, but for the anger, the betrayal. My therapist, Dr. Ellis, was blunt. "You can't change what happened," she said. "But you can decide what it means." I didn't know what it meant yet. Was it neglect? Indifference? Or just a horrible mistake? Months passed. I limped through rehab, each step a reminder of that night. My parents tried to rebuild things. Mom cooked my favorite meals, Dad offered to take me to baseball games. But the trust was cracked like my phone screen. We talked, but never about the 6 hours. It was a ghost in the room, haunting every conversation. One evening I found Mom crying in the kitchen. "I failed you," she said, her voice breaking. "I keep seeing you in that car alone." For the first time I saw her not as my mom, but as a person, scared, guilty, human. I hugged her and we both cried. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. Dad joined us, his eyes wet. "We're trying, Ethan," he said. "We'll keep trying." Healing wasn't linear. Some days I felt okay, others I was back in that ditch, screaming into the void. But I learned something. Family isn't just lovey, it's accountability. My parents weren't perfect, but neither was I. We were all learning to be better, one painful step at a time. Now I'm walking again, scars and all. The accident changed me, not just my body but my heart. I don't know if I'll ever fully trust my parents again, but I'm trying. And so are they. Life doesn't tie up neatly like a movie. There's no grand apology that fixes everything. But there's hope, fragile and stubborn, pushing us forward. What do you think? Were my parents neglectful, or was it an honest mistake? Should I forgive them, or is trust earned through more than apologies? Share your thoughts on family, accountability, and second chances.